You girls getting enough?
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
So delicious.
I think it's quite clear that Janine has had enough.
What are you saying?
I am simply saying what everyone is thinking. She gained a little bit of weight. This happens.
Mary.
This happens the first semester of college, but sweetheart, you just have to be careful.
You need to back off.
You're absolutely right, Mother.
I saw the film last night, and I have to say, not your character, but the actress who plays your character, she made me cry. Aww. But you make me realize that, you know what, being a father is so important to, you know, the children, how important it is, because it affects their life.
Yes.
As an adult.
It shapes
right?
who they are.
It shapes who they are.
Yeah.
So, you know, watching this, I'm like, really? Is this a true story? Seriously?
Largely true. I would say it is, yeah. I always say it's inspired by true events. It's semi-autobiographical. I don't think people are going to be interested in me lying around on the sofa watching television and seeing a movie about that. So, you know, I basically tried to condense a lot of moments in my life into, you know, a shorter time span. And, you know, you have to take some, you know, creative license in terms of, you know, changing up the facts and some names and that type of thing. But I tried to write it from a really authentic, emotional place.
And how long did it take you to finish the screenplay?
To write it?
Yes.
You know, there's a short and a long answer. I mean, it took me like 10 days to like spit the thing out, but it had been living in my head for like 2 years. So I think, in fairness, it probably took like 2 years.
So Ron, what was your first reaction after you read the script?
It was actually my my agent. She was like calling me like, hey, this isn't, you know, it's a kind of an indie film, but I read the script. It's really, really good. Just, can you have a read? I'm like, yeah, sure. So as soon as I read it, I read it in like, I don't know, 45 minutes. So now I was like, oh my God, this is great. So I told her, I'm down, I want to do it.
So now I'm curious, what was both of your life, I mean, growing up in the East Coast like at that time? I mean, what was it difficult? Was it easy? I mean, your best friend, played by Francesca Eastwood, you have a Caucasian best friend, which I think it's kind of rare at that time, right? Around in the 80s?
You know, I grew up in an environment where there were mostly there was mostly white people, and then I grew up in an environment where it was mostly black people. So I think for me, I was just used to wearing that sort of the cloak of being the outlier. You know, I never really looked like other people, and so I think for me, I guess I assimilated a little, you know, and I learned to sort of blend into different cultures. And I think growing up in New York, it's, you know, it's a rough neighborhood, but it's also a really vibrant one. So, you know, I'm always really grateful and proud to say that I'm a New Yorker.
How about you, Ron?
Yeah, I think the same goes, because for me it was just growing up, and I, like, my high school was the first integrated high school in New York. So same as Ange, like most of my friends were black or white,
right?
Or, you know, black or Jewish. So so, and then, you know, in that scene in New York, I, you know, grew up like hip hop. So you know, you kind of grew up DJing, doing all this stuff. So you learn, like what she was saying, like you learn to assimilate, but also I think we were both kind of rebels in our own different ways too. So just doing things, especially like jumping into, you know, acting. It was rare back then to have Asian actors, because a lot of, you know, even a lot of my friends that were doing Broadway, all that stuff, it was, you know, so it's very few.
Francesca's character, is that real or is that fictitious?
She's sort of an amalgamation of like maybe 4 different people.
So her character, she's often cut herself.
Yes.
Is that also real to some of your friends that you found out later in life?
That was my daughter.
Oh, your daughter.
So my daughter was a cutter, and I felt like
I
could write it from a really true place, because, you know, we dealt with that together. Yeah, it's really sad. It's
was she okay when you brought that aspect to the
We
film?
talked about it a lot. And she said, Mom, I think it's important for people to see what motivates this, what drives it.
And Ron, your character, you play a father who works constantly. What was your upbringing like in living in New York with your parents? Were your parents worked a lot? Were they like workaholic type of parents?
Yes, very much so, in the restaurant business.
So you can relate to the restaurant
that's why
business.
I was saying, when I read the script, not only did, you know, I see the father character and relate it to both my dad and my mom, but also I saw like a bit of Angie's character, her friends, like it was all part of me, you know, and also my friends too. So that's why I hit home a lot.
We see more Asian talents on films and on television. Do you see?
Not enough.
Not enough. That's what I want to ask. Do you see that? Will it get better within the next couple of years?
It does.
I think we can't be afraid to kick the door down,
Yeah.
you know, and be really fearless and just and stick to our guns in terms of wanting to cast Asians or wanting to keep it an, an Asian experience. And I also think as a community, this is something that Ron does so beautifully, we need to band together.
Yes.
I think there's strength in numbers, and I think
Unite.
like, any kind of infighting or any kind of like resentment or jealousy just sets us back.
That happens within the Asian team community?
It happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere. I think it happens in every community.
Yeah.
But I think, because we're at like sort of a breaking point, I mean, we really have to push through now. It's not a time to pull back. It's a time to just continue to put the pedal to the metal and like kick the door down.
Thank you for the invite.
Maybe you should have a little bit of water.
I think I am doing just fine. Why didn't you wear the silk blouse? It looks so much nicer on you than this.
I'm gonna go change right now, actually.
Janine,
That's
please.
terrific.
Please excuse me.
You were excused. It looks lovely on you, that blouse.
Janine. Nice. Really nice.